Hey everybody, welcome to the Real World Prepper. They, the powers that be, the government, the elite, all of those who actually hold power, are preparing for war. To secure peace is to prepare for war. And their idea of peace is probably not yours and mine. Stick around, let's talk a little. So, as many of you all know, these things are there to be seen if we're watching for them. All things for many decades that have been done, they're purposely designed, and not just in my opinion, but statistically so. If you do some of the looking, if you do some of the your own investigating, independent media sources a lot of times are a lot better than obviously than your mainstream, but purposely designed for many decades to split us as a nation, to split us as neighbors, to split us politically, to split us informationally, what we know and what we believe, to split our families, to split us as Christians from our Creator, from God. From God of heaven, God, the God of Abraham, the God of the Holy Bible. And in securing peace, preparing for war is the motto. But the war has already begun. It's obvious to most of us. And first, it's a war for your mind. Second, it's designed to tear us down and tear us apart as people, like I said before. And then when we're at our lowest, when we're at our lowest morally, our lowest preparedness wise, and our lowest in godliness, that is when they will swoop in. They're already out there in the tree line. They're already in your shrubs below your windows. They're in your house. They're in your closets. They're behind doors, lying in wait, waiting for the order to end us. If you go back and look at all types of things in history, there's lots of things that have been done by elite power structure, governmental and non-governmental, because our government is a corrupt institution. It is, it's not for the people. It is for certain people. It's not you and I know that. From the founding of our country, spies and dissenters. You can look at the President Lincoln assassination, the Great Depression, the collapsing of our money system. These are all attempts to tear people down. The JFK assassination, Ronald Reagan's attempted assassination. The United States government bringing in Nazi scientists after World War II. Operation Paperclip. Look into that. For technology. Come on. These guys were the big enemy, right? The big evil, But yet, we brought them in, We, our government, brought them in. The elite. Technology. The Industrial Revolution. It's interesting that the Industrial Revolution brought in so much so fast. We are 20 to 40 years behind. Some estimates are. I speculate it could be even more behind what you and I see with our. Well, I don't have my smartphone, but with our smartphones and our smart technologies and all that stuff. Everything that we have is an easy 20 to 40 years behind what is actually available and being used. The class system, they break us down into class systems to where, the bourgeois, I'm going to use a really terrible example here because I saw the movie recently, Titanic, right? The movie. In that movie, the bourgeois, they're going to get off first, boats that could have carried, at least according to this movie, James Cameron's account there. And it may have been the case. I wasn't there, thank God. But it's just an example of how money and power gets first crack at everything, gets to hold the power, gets to live life gets to have things, liberty, life, pursuit of happiness, wealth, at the expense of you and I and everyone under us. You've got big corporations monopolizing everything. Your mom and pop stores and your smaller retailers and things that have happened over the years. Eventually, one by one, they get bought up, sucked up, closed down, or absorbed, into bigger corporations. A handful of which exist, frankly, that own everything. Your military, your black budget projects, DARPA, 5G technology, radiation everywhere and everything, not to mention listening, watching, collecting data, knowing where you are, where you move, where you go, what you say, what you think, predictive programming, all of these things. You've got the Oklahoma City bombing. You've got the first attempt at the World Trade Center back in the early 90s. You've got the second successful attempt at the World Trade Center, 9/11, 2001. It wasn't Arab terrorists. That's not who did that. At least, not on their own, if it was. Was it even airplanes? That's for another video. But the fact is, it was done. Pentagon, etc. They're genetically modifying our foods. They continue to fluoridate our water. However, you look at a tube of toothpaste and it says, hey, do not swallow. Think about it, guys. Not to mention that other countries totally do not allow this stuff in their country. Some of it, to what degrees they can. But the United States is one of the only countries that allows all this GMO crap and fluoridated water and chemicals and all this stuff that's going on. Look at Flint, Michigan. Look at what's going on in California. Not only with the wildfires, which is in and of itself a story for another video, but what PG&E is doing, has been shutting off power, beta testing, to see how we'll handle, how we'll respond, what things will be like, how they can just flip switches and end things for us. Technology, think back to when JFK was assassinated. Phone lines were cut off, not just for the public, but for military and everybody in between, because that was an inside job, as we all know. And I know, and many of you do. Maybe there are some unbelievers here. So if they could do these things in the 60s, they could do these things, go all the way back. Just go all the way back to wherever you want in history, any of these things that I'm talking about here. And if you don't think there was a level of, obviously subversion, but cooperation, certain planning that went into place, ways to quell any unrest and to subvert what someone thought about what happened, how they understood what happened, what the official narrative would end up being. It's all there. It's all there. Ad campaigns today openly selling and touting evil, twisted, demented things. This LGBTQ for one agenda. Statistically speaking, that population, those people account for, I think, less than 2% of our population. However, there's at least 50%, and I'm beginning to think it's even more, saturation of that imagery in media, in ads, in everywhere you look, your television shows, everything. You're transgender, you're gay and lesbian, the whole agenda, which is designed, by the way, and perpetuated to break down the family, to break down the nuclear family. I don't care for that term, but we'll just use it because that's the family that describes, mom, dad, a few kids, and a dog, growing up, raising families the right way as God intended it. That's all meant to break this down. So we've got that going on, where it's a very disproportionate reference. The destruction of the family, like I say, tech companies watching, storing, studying our data, our patterns, our lives, like I was saying before. It's beta testing, guys. They're beta testing. They're trying out all these systems to see how they're going to go when they get ready to pull the cord, when they get ready to flip the switch. Because they're going to do it. They're going to do it. There's too many of us for them to handle. Them, the elites, those who want power, those who want control, those who want us to be slaves to their whims, to their needs, to their folly. And they don't want people who think for themselves. Education in the United States, some of the worst, and designed specifically to make good, order-taking, by the numbers workers, not critical thinkers. It's not what they want. There's even some Hollywood elites and actors and people in the know that have come out. Look at this now. Careers have been ruined for them, have come out, calling out the open Satanism in Hollywood, the open bloodletting, blood feasting, babies. This stuff is real, people. This is really going on. Child sacrifice, trafficking. You've got people on the inside that are telling you what's going on. Of course, they're being, painted as fools and worse, or being suicided. Jeffrey Epstein, come on. Men being demasculinized, right? Girl power in Hollywood and in the media. Not that you women don't have some power. Not that you women are not strong. Not that you women are not needed and have a place in society and in life and in families. You absolutely do. One that we men cannot do. Right? But men were designed men by our Creator for a purpose. Just as you women were designed for a purpose, to be women. We complement one another, okay? At least that's how God intended it. Big Pharma poisoning our minds and our bodies. The diminishing of God in our society. The diminishing of God in our society. Lord, that could be a whole nother video. So much of this, I'm just touching on points that all of these could be, we could spend lots of time talking about all of these, okay? I just want to touch on these things. To secure peace is to prepare for war. This is what they're doing. What are you doing? The war's already begun. It's just not one that's got people meeting, across a field firing bullets at one another or running at each other with blunt objects. Not yet. Jobs and industry being sold to our country. So listen. Stock up for yourself and your families on information, on studying, on learning things, trades, how to do things, how to be self-sufficient, homesteading, protection, offensively and defensively. Growing food, raising animals, gathering supplies, water. Your medical, diversify your stocks, your skills, your people. We've got to be prepared in this day and age. I don't know what it's going to look like, but it's not going to be pretty. I know that. Keep God first. Teach and lead your family by God's teachings, by God's example, by His design. Rely on Him. Pray to Him. Pray for discernment. Pray for Him to show you what you need to do for you and your family. Be fearless in Him. Be fearless in Him. There's no reason to be fearful in all of this. Only reasons to be prepared and to understand what's going on. To secure peace is to prepare for war. And that's what I'm doing. And I hope you guys are doing it too. If you want to send any correspondence my way, I'd love to look at it and respond back if I can. A lot of people send stuff, and I get to as much of it as I can. I do look at all of it, and got an email address, a USPS PO box address. In my About section, I'm also over on Patreon. I'd appreciate your support over there. YouTube does not support providers, and as much as they claim to be, this is our tube, right? YouTube, that's not how it really works. this video is going to have no monetization on it. I'm fine with that. Go over to Patreon. It's $1. You can pledge more if you like. The links are all in my About section. I really appreciate any and all things that you guys do for me. I appreciate each and every one of you guys that are subscribed to me. And I hope to see you again very soon. Thanks for joining me today, Real World Prepper.